Today's episode of Here and There is brought to you by Toronto Botanical Garden through the Garden Gate Tour. Connect with nature and be inspired by Master Garden Landscapes. Through the Garden Gate features a delightful behind-the-scenes look at some of the most beautiful private backyard gardens in the city. A master gardener awaits your arrival at each of the 15 stops to answer all your plant and garden design questions. Take the complimentary hop-on, hop-off shuttle as you discover the mid-Toronto neighborhood of Wychwood with Through the Garden Gate, Saturday, June 11th and Sunday, June 12th. Tickets are limited. Order today at www.torontobotanicalgarden.ca. Through the Garden Gate, presented by Cullen's Foods, for those who care about what they eat.
Big Texan steak crash in Anwar, Texas. You know, there's that saying, right? You're in Texas. And they have a challenge at this place. Now, this is literally a live feed, so it's a luck of the draw. But you could see that little pulpit. And that's where they've been doing this steak eating challenge. To eat a 72-ounce steak in an hour. So you have to eat the steak roll. It costs you 70 or less. Now, like I said, it's a luck of the draw. When I looked at this earlier this week, we had 3 people that were going in and out, but they put everything on a live stream. So what I did is that I collected a few of them to show you this as we kick up a Friday together. Take a look at some of the patrons over the last several days as they're eating their steak here. Again, we're talking 4.5 pounds of meat. And they've been doing this all the way back to the 1960s, if you can believe it. So, you know, I watched a couple. I put these back to back. I just thought it was really entertaining. I don't even eat ribs anymore, but I found this entertaining. So you can see, you know, some of these individuals. And I must say, all of the ones that I saw were men. Here we have 2 guys here, and they were all excited when they first started. I would see people taking pictures because, like, woo, you're doing the challenge. Then this guy, watch this. So he's a slim guy. He's like, hey, I can do this. And, you know, you can see the timer that they put on there. But then as you fast forward here, he's got 10 minutes left, and now watch. It's kicking in. And now here, you ready? Watch it. He's like, I'm done. And then wait for it, so it'll kick back. It's like, remember, 4.5 pounds of meat. Watch this. Ready? And, oh, right down there. And then at the end of it, you know, he's got 7 minutes left. He's like, what did I get myself into, man? What have I done? And the very end, which I didn't leave in here, but he actually asks, because he has to pay for his bill now, he said, where are the restrooms? Because he was just done. And then you've got these guys. They were taking pictures of it. And listen to this. So they're freaking out, say, whoa, 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 what's going on with this food? And the waiter goes, no, there's another competitor coming in, so you don't have to eat anymore. And obviously they didn't finish it. But this last guy comes in, I mean, he is ready. This guy, he's got a secret. And look, he starts, you know, cutting her up, and then he's got the little Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, as I was saying, we had 10,000 big steak champions and over 86,000 people tried it. Sorry, we're having a little bit of issue. Now, my neighbor, he's been doing all this construction, and I think something's going on with the wires there. So, as always, if we lose a feed, once we come back, just reload your page and you'll find us. Just got to refresh the page and you'll find where we are. So I apologize on that. But I thought it was a neat way to start a Friday. And by the way, Christopher was first on the board to wish everybody happy Friday. Miranda's with us, Barbara as well. Kitty saying happy to be here. Rick saying greetings on this beautiful Friday the 13th. Yes, indeed, it is that. Brenda saying hello. Maraga's with us. Wendy's saying happy Friday, as well as Kathy Murray, Donna Smith, Marina. I love being here on Friday with you. Well, it's a pleasure to have your company, Marina. I appreciate that. And Kathy's saying good afternoon. Gail is saying TGIF. And, so Marina says, I have a segment suggestion for you. Go to Too Good Pond and the trails in Markham. That is a good suggestion, actually. I've been there. Catherine's also joining us. So we appreciate that. So, so as we're starting off, we did the big Texan thing, and we've got a great show. Biggest Texas. Lots of things in this jam-packed show. Of course, it is Friday the 13th. And, this is, I don't know if you suffer from, is it triskaidekaphobia, the fear of the number 13. And some people do, some people don't. But this is a big day for Port Dover. And pre-COVID, you'd get like over 100,000 bikers that converge on that town along Lake Erie. I don't know if it'll be that big today, but certainly local officials are embracing for it. So Friday the 13th, I think it's a good luck day for us today because we've got some great things to share. And do you know what an Airbnb is? Well, how about one for pools? And that's starting to evolve. I don't know if it's or not, but I'll get your take on it to see if it's something you would do. And also, I'm going to show you the world's first. It's very cool. Of climate. We're going to play the missing movie game. And then, of course, adding to that, in our Nod to Nature file, have you ever seen a yellow cardinal? We'll show you, this is really one of the most rare birds in North America, and somebody captured it via photography. So I'll be happy to share that with you. So busy show, but let's start off here, and we're going to start off with the pool share. So it's been pretty warm. In fact, this is the 4th consecutive day of above seasonal temperatures. And some people are getting the pool ready. I feel very lucky. We have a pool with the kids. I have to tell you, it was, when we bought this house, never owned a pool before. But in terms of family time, it is amazing with the kids. So I feel very lucky for that. I'm hoping to open that up probably towards the end of next week. But maybe you've already got yours open up. This is a new trend that's coming out of the U.S., and it is a company that's providing pool owners a chance to rent out of their pool. So almost like Airbnb, but it's for the pool. And this became a byproduct of COVID to supplement the income for some people who've maybe lost their jobs, but they have a pool. Many parts of the U.S., a pool is a staple. You go to Florida. I mean, have you ever flown to Florida, as you're going down and you're starting to see the land, you see all the little peppers of, the pools in there. So this is pool sharing, and the company will help the owners in terms of providing some insurance and damage protection, although they say you should do a little bit more in terms of topping up your insurance. And they're thinking, instead of a birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, you rent out your backyard pool. $30 to $45 an hour. I don't know. I don't think it's for me. I don't want anybody peeing in my pool that I don't know. I mean, I don't want anybody peeing anyway, but certainly not a stranger for $45. But maybe that's just me. I'm not sure, and they're hoping to expand this as well so people can share tennis that they're lucky to have on, music studios, woodworking shops, which I might be more open to. I don't have a woodworking shop, but I have a garage full of tools. But that's what the AKQ is for today, the Anwar Night Query. I'm asking you, would you open up your home to strangers for money? Think about it. Whether it's a pool or not, I don't know. But would you be open to doing something like that? And for me, I don't think so. I don't think I'm there. I just don't. I think that to me, it's not worth the $45, and the Airbnb thing terrifies me. I won't stay in one because I think there's some creeps who put in cameras and stuff. Yeah, I know you think I'm nuts, but I'm serious. There was a story about that. A guy was found out he was putting these little peephole cameras in there. So that's the question. The AKQ today, would you open up your home to strangers for money? We are back. And Ron says, Ron says, hello to everybody. And tomorrow or Saturday evening is the season opener of the Mississauga Classic Car Club weekly show. Oh, the weekly show and shine at the new location, Dixie Outlet Mall, from 4 to 9. And the weather couldn't be better. Yeah, that's very true. You know, because I know you car owners, if there's like a 20% chance of showers, out comes the tissue paper and you fold up the cars, right? So that's good to know, though, Ron. We appreciate that. I'll let everybody know again. So the Mississauga Classic Car Club weekly show and shine is at the new location, Dixie Outlet Mall, from 4 to 9. And that is happening tomorrow. That'll be the first one. So good for you. Appreciate that. Lonnie's also joining us and saying, you know, better late than never here. And yep, all you have to do is make sure you refresh the page. We're having a little bit of a technical thing for today, but just refresh and we'll be back on track here. And Laura is also joining us, Laura Megan, and saying hello from Haley. So we appreciate you joining us on a Friday. And Rick says, they're getting an estimated 200,000 in Port Dover today. Really? Wow. No, not for me. Lois says hello from Lindsay on a beautiful day. And also, Christopher says Air P&P. Well, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Okay. All right, guys. My apologies on that. We haven't had technical problems like this in a very long time. Darn my neighbor. I don't know. So again, if we lose it, just refresh it. Sometimes that happens. It doesn't normally happen like this. But it is what it is. So let's continue here on a Friday. And Wendy says, no way. Once you let people into a pool, someone will need a bathroom. Well, it's interesting you say that because they don't make it an obligation that you have to provide a pool, but many have pool facilities usually, you know, close to, I should say a bathroom close to the pool, especially in the U.S. because they use it so much. But that's up to you. But that's another thing. You're right. You're now allowing people into another space. So that's the question for today. Farida says, nope, my home and my pool is on mine. Hashtag selfish. I agree with you. I get it for sure. Tammy, by the way, is wishing everybody a happy Friday. Good for those that want to, though. I guess you're right. And apparently it is quite popular. I don't think it's happened here in Canada yet, but it'll be probably just a matter of time. But certainly across the U.S., Texas and California, parts of Florida, they're starting to do this. So anyway, let's get into our next story. This is really cool. We don't need a pool floaty. Talking about a floating city. This is the world's first prototype floating city that has been unveiled at the UN headquarters in New York. So it'll be based off in the waters of South Korea's second largest city of Busan. And it will feature interconnected platforms. So it's almost 16 acres. and will provide home for about 12,000 people with the potential to accommodate 100,000. I don't know how they're going to do that. But what's beautiful about this, it's completely sustainable. Every neighborhood will treat and replenish its own water. It'll reduce and recycle resources. They'll have urban farm areas to grow food. And they'll also have solar power to provide electricity. Now, this is not a resort. This is a real solution due to climate change. They're adapting to rising sea levels. And this is not 2030, 2040, 2050. Construction starts next year. So they're using science and technology and getting to work. And I think that's, to me, the best part of this. I mean, we have to start making plans now because our changing planet, the impacts are unfolding every day. Look at the heat right now. You know, it's warmer in the Nickel Belt than it is here in the city. There's a weather pattern with that as well. But, you know, we went from a very long winter to a very tiny spring, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're into summer-like weather. Not that it's going to last very long, but, you know, that's what our changing planet is about, right? It's a swing of extremes. So here you have a solution out of South Korea. They're going to make this floating city because of the rising waters. I thought it was just fascinating, and I think that it's something that, you know, more and more nations are going to actively really start thinking outside of the box and actually doing something. Don't just have meetings and proposals. You know, they're going to start building this next year, and I think that's what it's going to take, right? Shar says, saying hi from our trailer opening up on Buckhorn Lake. The weather's been so perfect this week. It almost feels like July, doesn't it? So that's kind of neat. Sarah J is saying, how cool is that? And Kathy says, I missed all that. What complex is this? So it is the first floating city that will be built in South Korea. And it is, again, to really mitigate the impact of climate change, the rising sea levels. So this was unveiled at the United Nations headquarters in New York City. I thought it was very cool. So let's get into our forecast. Then we'll play the missing movie game. Hopefully we won't have any more technical problems. But I'll let you know that the weather is brought to you by the Toronto Botanical Garden through the Garden Gate Tour. It's your chance to tour 15 beautiful private gardens in the mid-Toronto neighborhood of Wychwood, well known for its arts and crafts and architecture. It's a fabulous opportunity to be inspired by exceptional backyard design and also get all of your work that the TBG does year-round. Through the Garden Gate is presented by Cullen's Foods for those who care about what they eat. For tickets, go to www.torontobotanicalgarden.ca. Cullen's Foods, by the way, by the Cullen family. Mark, the garden guru, his son Ben, who's running that, he's going to be joining us on the preview, by the way, on June 3rd that we'll be doing right here on the show. So I'm excited to connect with him, and we'll get a tour. But get those tickets, because that's a great idea to get outside, celebrate nature, and get some good ideas. Let's take a look at your national map here. We have a high pressure dominating across the eastern Great Lakes. And it's been with us all week. That's provided in that sunshine. In fact, this has been the warmest week we have enjoyed all year so far. We do have a cutoff low down towards the Carolinas. That's going to drift slowly northward and spill some cloud. And eventually we'll get some rain showers and possibly isolated thunderstorms with that. So we're going to watch it accordingly. The cold front that moves in on Monday will also break this, I don't want to say the heat wave. It's not a heat wave, but this very pleasant warm air that we've been dealing with, it's going to be much closer to seasonal as we get into next week. So let's put it all together. Your forecast for the GTA, a lot of sunshine, very warm temperatures, a high of 27 for today. Tonight, scattered clouds and warm with a low of 13. And your sunset time is 8:33. So I certainly expect to smell barbecues in the air, certainly later on today. Good setup for the weekend, though, that's for sure. Wind, not a major issue. But it is a part of the forecast. Because we have a southeasterly flow, it's coming off the lake. So if you're down by the lake, it will be cooler. The further you're away from the lakes, the warmer it gets. And I'll prove that with a look at the rest of southern Ontario. Mainly sunny and hot. We will see 24 to 30 degrees across southern Ontario. What's interesting, Haliburton, they'll have a humidex of 33 for today. Sudbury right now is sitting at 27. So away from that southeasterly flow, you'll get hotter values. And I think we'll probably break a record in Halliburton today. The record was 30.1, set back in 2004. The norm, by the way, is 19. Tonight, partly cloudy, 12 to 16 degrees, 12 in Halliburton, 13 in Kingston, 16 in Windsor for overnight lows. Currently, we have 24 at Pearson, 24 in Hamilton, 23 in Oshawa, 24 in Windsor, and 25 in Barrie. Again, it really does feel like July. The 5-day trend. So let's get into the weekend, the full forecast. A lot of sunshine for tomorrow. Clouds, again, as the system starts to migrate a little bit further north, but dry for us. That's the good news. And then you can expect certainly it'll be humid, probably feeling 30, 31 degrees. Likely after 3 o'clock, we'll get some showers and a risk of thunderstorms across the region, the high of 27. Monday, that cold front moves in, so look at that from 27 to 20. So big difference, cooler air, and we'll get some rain on Tuesday, which now is below seasonal. But I'm not complaining at teens, and it should be dry. Again, a mix of sun and cloud on Tuesday. So there you have it. Overall, a pretty nice weekend. Some people may be opening up the cottage. Typically, it's the May 2-4 weekend, but you get a little excited with that heat, and I don't blame you. Also, Kathy says she heard a lot about this complex in Korea and about climate change. So that's the takeaway from that story in terms of what we can do to mitigate some of the issues. And Wendy says, it feels better than July because the nights are still cool and not humid. Well, that's true. You know, my neighbor put on the air conditioning yesterday. I'm too cheap. I found it quite nice. We had our windows open. So everybody has different thresholds. The other part could be allergies, because that's also started to be an issue, and I'm feeling that. But I thought it was kind of interesting. Okay, so still to come, by the way, we're going to play the missing movie game and then also the nod to nature. So let's get into the missing movie game. Really easy to play. You guys ready? Yeah, let's kick up a Friday just right. The missing movie game is very easy. We're going to read you a line, a famous movie line from a big blockbuster film, and you tell me which movie it is from. And then also put the number sign next to the answer, so that way I know which one you're corresponding to, and it'll make things just right. All right, so question number 1. You ready for this? And Lonnie says, tell your neighbors to have their lunch at this time every Friday. Yeah, then we won't have any issues, right? Yeah, maybe. Okay, so here it is. Number 1, you're gonna need a bigger boat. Name the missing movie. You're gonna need a bigger boat. This is a true classic. And Nancy, by the way, says, I'm cheap too, but I put the AC on in the car. Yeah, I can see that actually. And Laura's first on the board saying Jaws. And that's, I'm not gonna say if it's right or wrong, but that's our first one on the board. So that's the question number 1. You're gonna need a bigger boat. Miranda jumps in as well with Jaws, so does Janet. Hello, Janet, by the way, it's great to have your company. Alan adds in there, Nancy says Jaws. Now, are we doing follow the leader? Also, Donna adds in, Madeline, Lara, Megan says that. Also, Kathy and Rick and Lonnie and Kathy Woolley, all saying the answer to number 1 is Jaws, and you are correct! That is Jaws. You know, it's a really funny story, though, where that line came from. Of course, that was Chief Brody, played by Roy Scheider in the classic movie Jaws. But what was happening is that when they were making the film, they used a big barge, and it was being pulled by a little tiny tugboat. And a lot of the crew would say, you know, that boat is too small to pull that barge. So what happened, but the producers were very cheap. They wanted to keep costs down. So when they were filming in any type of wave or wind, the barge would rock, and as a result, it would wreck the shot because the cameras on tripods would rock back and forth. So the joke during the production was, you're gonna need a bigger boat. You're gonna need a bigger boat. So Roy Scheider actually said that line a number of times in the film. It was always edited out, but in this particular scene, they said, wow, that's magic. So he said, gonna need a bigger boat. And although it had, you know, another meaning to the cast and crew, it fit the movie just perfectly. And that's the story behind the famous line, and a real great movie. In fact, you know, the lead developer of that film, he regrets it to this day because it vilified sharks, right? and they try to pedal backwards on it because, I mean, sharks are becoming endangered depending on the species. But good for those who got it. And Sarah J., by the way, said, I wasn't following the leader. Okay, well, I'm glad that you got the answer. That's good. Question number 2 for the missing movie game. Wilson. Wilson. Name the missing movie. This, I think it was easy. Wilson. Now, I could add some, real inflection to it. Go, Wilson! And that might help you. But this was another iconic movie. Well done, considering that the lead actor, was 3/4 of the film on his own. So that's the question. Missing movie game number 2. And I'm just saying Wilson, huge Hollywood actor, has done, I would say, majority of his career, all hits. And now we got some people on the board. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, wow, we got a lot of people now. Miranda's saying Castaway. So is Lonnie, Christopher, Lara, Alan, Janet. Linda is saying Tom Hanks, but I don't remember the name. At least you're honest. I appreciate that. Marag says Castaway. And Wendy Taylor says Tom Hanks, ... Also, Kathy adds Castaway, Rick, Laura, and, Kathy Woolley says Dennis the Menace. That was a good guess, actually. Not correct. Madeline says Tom Hanks and Castaway. Sarah J. says Castaway. And Pat O'Brien just says, well, a Tom Hanks movie for sure. Admittedly, Laura says, I had to Google it. I can only think Tom Hanks too. Well, that's cheating, but that's okay. You're honest. Indeed, it is Castaway. Tom Hanks, who played Chuck Noland, calling out to his one and only friend on this deserted island when his FedEx plane crashed. And that is, of course, that volleyball, which, by the way, is one of the most popular inanimate objects in film history now. And one of the prop balls that was used in the film actually sold for over $300,000 at an auction. But anybody ever notice a very unique thing about that film? Unlike other Hollywood blockbusters, it did not feature a musical score per se. And that was intentional, because the director said, I don't want the music to create and take the viewer somewhere where I don't want them to go. So he relied more on the sound effects. Tom Hanks trying to start a fire when he grabbed the rock to take the tooth out, which was very powerful. But what a great film. And to think, the skills of Tom Hanks to be able to pull that off, because like I said, most of the film was just him alone and a volleyball. But it was very well done, right? So congratulations to everybody who got that one. Let's get to number 3 here on the missing movie game. This one I think is easy. Remember, put number 3 here. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Name the missing movie. This was another classic film. Wax on, wax off. Missing movie game you're watching here and there. I'm Anwar Knight. It's great to have your company, by the way, on a Friday, May the 13th. So we're looking for your entries, and here we go. Miranda's the first one on the board, saying The Karate Kid. All right. Good for you, Miranda. And also, Alan is joining in. Wendy, Janet Lowry says that too. Madeline, at least you're honest, don't know that one. You've got to see this film, though, when I tell you which one it is. And, Linda says, absolutely no clue, LOL. Oh, and Laura says, does this ever bring me back? Kathy says, not a clue. Kathy Woolley adds a question mark. Shirley Zilke says Karate Kid, as does Lonnie. And indeed, it is The Karate Kid. If you haven't seen that film, check it out. It's really well done. And, if you think about it, it's still iconic. Classic 80s film. It only cost $8 million for them to make. And, oh, wow, it became, world famous. Ralph Macchio, of course, played the Karate Kid. And in that particular scene, when he was learning those skills of wax on, wax off on the 1947 Ford Super Deluxe convertible, he actually got to keep that car. He sort of hinted around, boy, we'd really like to have that car. And eventually they gave it to him, and he actually lends it out, because now there's that follow-up Cobra Kai, right, which was 40 years later or whatever it is, on Netflix, and apparently it has appeared in the film as well. So there you have it. Congratulations to all of our winners there. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And Kevin said, I thought it was a basketball. Oh, no. It was a volleyball. So there you have it. All right, now let's get into our Nod to Nature because I know we're running on time. And I'm excited to open up the Nod to Nature file for this one because it was very cool. I did not know it existed. Well, did you know about yellow cardinals? Be honest. Yellow cardinals. Very rare. In fact, experts believe there's only about a dozen that frequent North America. And nature photographer snapped these pictures. So the first image is the actual bird that she captured. But, you know, these are the same species as your common red cardinal, and there are millions of those. But this one carries a genetic mutation that causes it to have bright yellow feathers instead of the usual brilliant red. And it actually is from their food. The cardinal's yellow pigments come from a diet of seeds, grains, and fruit, and normally their body will process it and convert those pigments into red if they have a specific enzyme. And if they don't, their feathers are yellow, and scientists believe this is a 1 in a million genetic mutation. How amazing is that? And they are considered endangered because people try to catch them, right? If you see it, it's so rare. But I think certainly a worthy entry into our Nod to Nature folders. So the yellow cardinal, who knows? Maybe it appears in your own backyard. If you do see it, go buy a lotto ticket that night. Anyway, my friends, I'm going to wrap up the show. I apologize for glitches today. Sometimes that happens, but I do appreciate you joining me and having your company. If you enjoyed what we're doing, please send us a parade of hearts and likes, and be sure to follow and share the page. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe on that channel. And we will be on location next week. Look forward to having your company then. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, be well, and keep smiling. See you later, guys. Thank you.